The production and distribution of reports, or known as journalism, and the use of different media platforms play an essential part in our everyday living because it keeps the nation informed of the issues or problems that the country is facing. We need people like journalists to keep us updated, considering that all information they are presenting is reliable, truthful, and accurate, most especially during this pandemic. Through the assistance and service of our journalists, we will be able to gain self awareness and insight about events, issues, and news that could affect our current or future standard of living. It is the responsibility and job of journalists to be informed and educate the public, so being able to differentiate reliable information from misleading information is an essential aspect of their career. With all the information that I have introduced, our group wants to raise this question. Is it worth choosing journalism as a career considering that media are facing various issues and dilemmas? Being in a journalism field is not an easy career as it is filled with personal and professional challenges. However, the information produced by the journalists or the media can easily influence the citizens, and the said information has the power to excite the people to start a liberating movement that can address unfair and unlawful governance that harms the nation. That is why journalists must always choose to publicize information that can lead to changes for the benefit of people and not for the sake of deceiving the public. Herewith, our stand with the previous question is journalism is a worthwhile career to pursue.
According to Professor Luis Sidoro, one of the presenter in FEU Public Intellectual Series, the objective of media is to transmit knowledge as well as interpretation and analysis to people. It allows us to comprehend the world in order to assess what is and behave as free men and women. But how can we attain this goal when our own professionals, whose duty is to provide us the information we require, are threatened and in some cases influences by higher ups in society? Today, we'll discuss why students or people who want to be journalists should continue to pursue this career. We are going to tackle why journalism is worthwhile to pursue, as well as the issues and ethical dilemmas they are facing. The journalism is worthwhile because, according to Files co-founder Yvonne Chua in a news article, without journalism, we would not be able to gain our freedom in the face of injustices in our society. Remember Ferdinand Marcos' presidency, when media corporations were shut down, a lot of journalists were arrested and executed, and media corporations were manipulated. We can say we had a media blackout during that time, where citizens had a limited access about what was going on in their country, and media journalism actually took place and did its duty to serve the nation and do the public good. Because of their courage in standing up to perform their duty, the nation's love for our country was reawakened, resulting in our nation's freedom. But despite of media as a source of information to public, journalism can also be a widespread dissemination of misinformation or fake news. As a journalist, it is the responsibility to inform the public about news that is important and worthwhile to know, rather than data that contains propaganda and biased facts. Individuals are at risk of being misled by false information and propaganda spread for the benefit of someone. And as I previously stated, journalists' job is to provide people with fact knowledge news, to analyze and study thoroughly, and to correct materials that leads to people being misinformed.
Indeed, journalism is a profession worthwhile career to pursue. As for second support in our stand, it is stated by the broadcast journalist Howie Severino in the article that we have read, journalism is a profession worth taking risks for, as journalists play an essential role in the condition of many Filipinos in various situations. The article also stated that journalism is a public good, and serving people with reliable information is one of their roles as journalists. With their career, they cannot deny that it is challenging and demanding. However, it is also fulfilling and rewarding moment for them if they were able to disseminate evidence and truth for the public to be informed and be educated. All the information presented in media or by the journalists can be considered powerful tools for bringing critical awareness to some issue that can engage to start a debate to address it and take action such as liberating movements. Yes, the journalists may experience fulfillment whenever they inform the public of the truths through their writings or report. However, the dilemma here is the lives of the journalists are at risk, wherein they are experiencing life and death situations. Based on the news written by Richelle Menjola of Asian Journal, our country, the Philippines, ranks third with the most journalists killed in 2020. This kind of news has a significant impact on why some younger generation are having a second thought about pursuing journalism as a career. Also, this may lead to many journalists in a difficult situation because they are torn whether to think about themselves or report certain information where their lives will put at risk. This kind of journalist situation is indeed a significant action to take and a very challenging decision to make.
Journalism can change people's lives. Hearing and discovering these first-hand accounts through documentaries, creators' hard work allows us to put ourselves in the shoes of others, raising empathy in a world that desperately requires our engagement and compassion. Those feature-length documentaries tell real-life stories to give a human presentation to global dilemmas that may otherwise seem remote, unappealing, or uninteresting. But for us, it is an eye-opener about the untold stories of other people, because we can see here the experiences and the lives of those people. One example of the documentaries that changes people's lives is the documentary about Paco Larrañaga. He was convicted, murdered the Chong sisters. However, the documentary titled Give Up Tomorrow presents evidence that he did not kill the Chong sisters. It somehow helps him to prove in the eyes of other people that he did not murder or rape anyone. However, there is a time that conflict of interest exists between personal interest, which is being paid, and public interest, which is to get accurate and fair information, which we can say is one of the dilemmas of journalism. It arises when a politician or someone who has a power compensates the media professional for their benefits, and the journalist itself agrees on its offer. By being unethical of some journalists may destroy someone's reputation.
To conclude, although media is a means of disseminating information so that people can understand what is going on in the world, it is still associated with high risk because it is threatened due to the field of work it belongs to and involves a variety of ethical issues. We believe that journalism is worthwhile to pursue because it represents people's voice and freedom to access vital information as well as express their experiences and opinion on social concerns. Journalists are also risk takers and heroes who defend people by keeping them connected to a variety of phenomena. But, despite of its meaningful contribution to the media, it is associated with high risk because it is threatened due to the numerous ethical issues. First is the assassination and violence against journalists, which makes it difficult for some people to continue in their chosen profession. Second, journalists who choose self-interest over public interest have an impact on the accuracy of the information they offer. And lastly, fake news, which has become increasingly common as a result of technology advancements.
Journalism is not all about writing an article, but writing a story, the reality. It is all about putting your whole heart into showing the nation the truth beyond what the viewers know and see from their perspective and point of view. It is the passion to seek truth and only provide facts. If you truly love serving not just the country but the people itself, journalism is worth taking for. And it is the time for us to appreciate our journalists' efforts and hard work. Even though they knew that it may harm their lives by doing this job, they still do it just to provide us truthful information. And that's all for this summative assessment.